Hello, everyone. So, today I wanted to discuss something important and something new, and something is more convenient for a developers to write a queries. Right. You can see the Salesforce developers, as we always write an string-based queries more than dynamic queries. That is what more intend to do. So, for example, if we wanted to write any dynamic query, we always ensure to keep the dynamic query references, I mean, variable references within that query limits or query scope or within that particular Apex class scope. But now that's really a frustrating thing. Like we have to create many Apex variables just for query, which is but as of now, it is good. But going forward, we really no need to concern about a query-based variables that we need to maintain within the SOQL queries. For example, you can see a simple class here, right? So this is a class which is actually accepting a query, and then it is trying to return a data. For example, if I want to execute this, for example, this is how I execute, I'll get a data in the form of accounts. For example, if it sees, if I have queries, something like this, then what I can do, I can print a data account, ACC colon, ACCs, and we can print system.debug, or we can do any business logic. For now, this is just a query explanation. I'm just making an example of ACC.name. And what happened? This will gonna execute absolutely fine because I'm not using any where condition, right? So fine, let's execute and check it out, which is absolutely fine. What if I wanted to read a data only having account name contains oil or account name contains United or anything else? If I pass any condition, then for example, string name equal to, I'll say oil percentile, and I'll take this where name like name. Right? What happens if I execute this? Generally, this is how we do typecasting our variables, the dynamic. Otherwise, you will end up in writing something like and then concatenation and everything you need to be done. For example, how I can write this plus like and then plus. This is how we need to execute. For example, if I execute now, then what happens? Unexpected token name because the name whatever we are passing in the query, which is there in the field, right? But now what happens? This is not a query scope element. So what I'll be doing now, I need to define a name here. For example, if I define public static string name, then I need to assign the scope of the variable. Saying that, and I'll be saving it. Now I defined a query scope where actually we are performing query we are performing line number 4. And line number 4, when it is executing, it is looking for a name operator, name variable. The name variable is not existing before because it is called from outside of a class. Now, what I have done, I declared my variable locally. That is how we actually generally do in our day to day while writing a queries for a dynamic operators. If I execute now, expected equal, what happened? Name like, okay, one, yes, query, execute. Oh, my bad. So now we can see that's a semicolon that happened. Now we got the data, whatever we wanted. This is something here we define. The concern here is we actually define a variable. We actually define a variable. But what I'm expecting, we don't need to define this variable anymore. With the new operator, query operator, that new method we got something called query with binds. What there is a new method called query with binds. So we got a method called query with binds. This accepts three parameters. This accepts your three parameters. The first one is your query string. The second one is the binders, which is in the format of map of string of objects. And the next one is access level. And the next one is access level. Let's define that method. Okay. Let's define that method. How I can write? Public static list of account get accounts. Here I'll be defining a two methods now, two variables, which is string query, and the next one is binder, which is something called string, comma. String is generally is for string ideally refers to your variable keywords, and this is object binders. And now how I'll be writing my method? Return database dot query with binds. Query with binds. Here the query will go as it is, and your binders will go. And this is more like a access level, either system mode or a user. Access level dot user mode. Now what happened? We are not going to define any extra variables. We are not going to define any extra variables in our Apex class. For example, let's build a query something like this. String query equal to select ID, comma, name from account where name like name and rating not equal to rating. Now you can see I added an extra condition, name like rating. So added extra condition. Now I'll be defining a map of ID, comma, sorry, string, comma, object binders equal to new map of string, comma, object. So let's find the data directly. How we can bind? So let's say I need to use the same variable name. So that is important. This refers as a key. And I'll say this as oil. This is my first. And what is the second one I have? Rating. And I'll map this to. So what I have done here, I added my account name, or you can name, like for example, here I mention name. Here, if you want to mention account name or ACC name or like company name, whatever you wanted, you can name them. But the identifier is always the variable name what you referred in the query should be same as the map key. That's how the query binder will use this variable name to get a value from the binders. If it is there, then fine. It will find and will return a data for you. List of account SSC is equal to, I'll write a method,
Good evening, home. Take signed on for today.
get accounts, query, comma, binders. That's how two methods will go. And I'm gonna print the same stuff. Do we really have accounts with IDs? I don't know. Let's check it out. Do we have any data having rating is same? Then we can run select ID, comma name, comma rating from account where name like oil. Okay, we got one heart. I'll make two hearts and one code. These are the standard picklist values. So fine. We got two hearts. So when this query runs, how many records will return? It should return United Oil and Gas Singapore and gas crop. Execute. And interestingly, we added a query of company name and rating, but we did not declare any variables at a class level. Now we're totally dependent on a map which we are passing dynamically. This avoids the scope. Sorry, my bad. Execute highlighted. Now let's see the results. You got it? Now see the benefit what we got. Like if you referred multiple variables for a complex where condition, complex data query operations. Now I feel data query with binds is actually giving a more advantage to the developers and which more are like you no need to define a multiple apex variable which eventually avoid lot of confusion when someone is going back and updating the code just to identify whether this is actually used within the business logic or this is a variable which we referred in the apex query. So this actually segregates that behavior. So you, guys, if you are started to writing any queries, SQL queries from now on, I would recommend try using query with binds rather than database.query. I know that this become very habitual for us in order doing all these years, but this is the time where we can change by using database.query with bind. So anyway, I'll be uploading this to my blog, the particular recordings, and there you can find the other details if you need any more. If you still wanted to have further clarifications, right, you can reach out me through my blog or from a YouTube channel. So please share your feedback, what you felt. Thank you guys. See you with the next video. Bye.